Welcome to Connecting Hope. I'm Will Hampton along with Monica Greer from the Hamilton County Council on Alcohol and Other Drugs.
There you go.
I keep getting it better and better each
You
time.
do.
And what the council does is?
We provide funding for alcohol and drug treatment, justice, and prevention.
Well, one thing we've talked a lot about in this show is trying to get help to people who need help. And if you're wherever you are right now watching this show, that's what this is about, connecting hope and help. And I'm hoping that we're doing that.
Me too.
Yeah. One thing that I really love is the help we have from the other agencies and people within the groups, like Kelly Gunn.
Yes.
And the Tower program.
Yes.
Give me a brief look at what the Tower program is.
The Tower program is located within the Hamilton County Jail, and they provide peer resources, they provide education resources, interview skills, they have job fairs. So inmates in the jail are provided information and support before they get out of jail so they'll be successful when they do get out.
We're going to hear from Kelly in just a bit, but one thing I've always kind of wondered is how do they know who's in the Tower program? How do you, as an inmate or someone that's trying to get through that phase of their life, how do they get in the Tower program?
How do they get into it? There are some qualifications, so I don't know exactly what those are, but Kelly will be able to get into that. But as long as they meet the criteria for the program and they want to do it, then they should be able to.
And really their focus is they are people that are committed to trying to move forward with their life.
Yes. Yeah.
It's called the Tower program with the Hamilton County Jail, and we got a chance to talk with Kelly Gunn, and she is the program coordinator?
Or case manager.
Case manager. See, you know all the terminology. I'm still learning the terminology, but let's hear from Kelly Gunn with the Tower program of Hamilton County.
So the Tower program is a reentry program in the Hamilton County Jail. TOWER stands for Transitioning Opportunities for Work, Education, and Reality. That program was born out of a grant back in 2016 and has since evolved to be privately funded by local business owners in Hamilton County. And that program allows me to do case management with people that are about 90 to 120 days or more out from being released from the jail. So I help them meet their emergent needs. So I help them with a transition plan that includes housing, employment, financial assistance, clothing, food, transportation. I help them get their driver's licenses reinstated or reissued. I help with social security cards and birth certificates and obtaining those documents. So basically anything that could potentially be a stumbling block to these folks as they're leaving the jail and transitioning back to our communities, I help them with those services. And then in addition, we pair them with a mentor from our local community that becomes a pro-social support for them in their transition back into the community. That mentor relationship, that mentor-mentee relationship really is a crucial part of this program. That mentor becomes somebody that is a strong, solid person in the mentee's life that they can go to for advice, that they can go to for encouragement and support. And so that mentor relationship starts inside of the Hamilton County Jail, and that mentor can start visiting with their mentee while they're incarcerated so that they can build rapport and build a relationship prior to the person leaving. And then that mentor's goal is to just be that encouragement and support that they may have never had in their lifetime from family or friends, or maybe they've burned every bridge that they have and they just don't have anybody else to depend on. So that mentor becomes that person for them. It really fills my cup just to see men and women reunited with children, their spouses, going back into our community, finding that they have value and worth. A lot of these people don't understand that they have job skills and life skills. They've just never been told anything positive about themselves. So it really fills my cup to help them see their worth and value, and that they have God-given strengths and abilities that they may have never recognized before.
Thank you, Kelly, for all the work you do, and also a big kudos to Josh Carey, who's the jail commander, and he was on our show a few weeks ago, but the way they work together is pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. They are passionate about helping people, and that is the main thing. So we're fortunate.
Yeah, trying to get them through that part of their life, out of jail, back into the workforce. Yeah, all that stuff. Let's talk a little bit more about the Hamilton County Council on Alcohol and Other Drugs and some of the agencies that are in the council. These are groups that perhaps you out there could call or get a hold of if you really feel like you could use their services. So let's go down just a few more of them. We've done this from time to time. The first one is the chaplaincy program.
Yeah, that is through the Hamilton County Jail Chaplaincy Division, and they offer a really neat program for kids. It's a junior law enforcement academy, and they provide T-shirts, they provide information on what police officers do. It's faith-based. They just do a lot of fun things with the kids, ages kindergarten through seniors in high school. So
they work directly with the sheriffs. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be done, the deputies. Yeah.
So it's a one-day event, but it's neat. They
Yeah.
offer it in the summer. Unfortunately, this summer they weren't able to
Yeah.
due to COVID.
2021. Let's
Yes.
all look to 2020.
Yeah.
Breathe Easy Hamilton County. Stacy London is going to be our guest here in the
Yes.
next segment, but a quick peek on what they're about.
Sure. Breathe Easy Hamilton County offers cessation tools. They offer prevention work with the schools. So it's tobacco related, vaping related, just trying to help protect others from secondhand smoke and help prevent young people from smoking and vaping.
More from Stacy in just a bit, but then two other ones, the Hamilton Heights Schools Prevention Education and the Noblesville Parks Prevention Education.
Yeah, fortunately, a lot of our schools provide prevention programming within the schools, and Hamilton Heights is one of those schools. They provide prevention programming from kindergarten through high school, and just very fortunate, again, to be working with them. They provide a DARE program for the younger students, and then they also have some other things that they're doing with middle school and high school. So we work very closely with the school resource officers, and Jim Ginder with the health department provides a lot of the training and the health classes.
In the parks, very similar. Same kind of
Yes, yes. The parks has a lot of events throughout the year, and we partner with them, especially for October. They have a Halloween event. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's that time on the show that we both love very much, the success stories. And this week we introduce you to Mark's story.
There was never a day in my life that I ever woke up and said, I hope I don't drink today. My plan was to drink today. My plan was to get the stuff out of the way that I had to get out of the way, and then be able to drink like I wanted to drink. And I didn't want to drink like normal people. I never had a desire to just have one or two drinks. I wanted to drink like people that were my heroes, people like Ernest Hemingway and Frank Sinatra and Jim Morrison. These were the kind of drinkers I wanted to be like, big, artistic, dramatic people. That's who I envisioned myself as. My wife finally had an issue occur in her life that made it clear to her that she was an alcoholic, and she ended up joining a fellowship of people that were focused on trying to help her quit her drinking. What followed was 5.5 years of sobriety without recovery. And what I ended up finding out is that, I'm not the kind of alcoholic that has a problem with alcohol. When I removed alcohol from my life, my ability to handle things like fear and anger and depression and anxiety, self-pity, all these sort of negative emotions that normal folks don't seem to have a big problem with, I had no way of controlling. And what happened to me was basically a 5.5 year period of sliding deeper and deeper into what some of us who are in the recovery community today refer to as dry drunkenness. In other words, not using the substance that I had a problem with, but not getting better either. In fact, I went in the exact opposite. And I finally hit a point, wrapped around the way I treated my oldest son, where we ended up in a moment which, in my community, we would call hitting bottom.
Thank you, Mark. An incredible story. Thank you for sharing. Coming up a little bit later, we'll hear part 2 of Mark's story. But as promised, Breathe Easy Hamilton County. What's that all about? We'll find out when we continue on Connecting Hope. Again, thank you so much for watching Connecting Hope, and we do appreciate you doing that each and every week here on TV 40. I'm Will Hampton along with Monica Greer, and we're talking Breathe Easy Hamilton County with Stacy London. A lot of people want to know, first off, what is Breathe Easy Hamilton County?
Well, we're a grant-funded position through the Indiana State Department of Health. And so we are the tobacco prevention cessation coordinator for our county. So, that's the basis of all our work. We educate on cessation and also prevention practices with schools, organizations, businesses. So our main goal is to really prevent our youth from ever starting to use tobacco and educate our adults and let them know about the services that are out there to help them quit. And then we also do some advocacy work down at the State House. So we do, because we know that smoke-free air policies and cessation really drive people down from using the tobacco products, and it makes us a healthier community.
Now, you know the stats better than I do. Monica probably knows them. She should be asking this question. But it seemed like back in the day, when I was just a young lad, people, like all of our parents and people, aunts and uncles, they smoked. It was just normal. Everybody was smoking. And then that sort of went away, where people weren't smoking as much. My generation, most people don't smoke. Never have, never will. But then now it seems to be coming back. Correct me if I'm wrong.
We do, and and we also additionally have that trend of vaping, where our youth are being introduced to tobacco products. So 1 in 4 youth that start vaping will transition to traditional cigarettes, and that's a scary stat for me because I grew up with a parent that smoked and died of complications of smoking. I have a young child that when she was in 8th grade, she's a junior now, she was asked to vape at the park, and that was my initial reason to join Breathe Easy Hamilton County and apply for this job.
So what if a youth wanted to get involved in your initiative, how would they do that?
Well, it's a great time for Breathe Easy in Hamilton County. The state did realize that there was a problem, that we had an epidemic on hand. The governor made an announcement at one of our schools in our county. So they created an initiative for our youth to empower, educate, and engage other youth to get that message about vaping out there. So we have a group, their Voice, Core Indiana group, 5 youth from Hamilton County representing different schools that will educate and do some peer-to-peer education. They'll do peer-to-peer education and also activities to engage the youth in Hamilton County and get that messaging out there. One way to do that is to follow them on Instagram. They're called The Action 5. That was something that we were down at the State House with the governor. He made the announcement in August. We had a rally for all the youth across the state, and the Hamilton County youth were asked to represent all the youth and host a booth there. And one of the youth came up, our youth from Carmel came up and said, "Can we start an Instagram?" And I was like, let me check. And I grabbed my boss, and he was like, "Go for it," So they created that Instagram account that day, and they're using that account to educate their peers. So again, it's The Action 5, and they also have The Action 5-1 on Twitter. So they're doing some great messaging, and they are really excited about making a change here in Hamilton County.
So what if somebody is smoking or vaping and they would like to quit? What are some cessation options?
Well, that's another good point, and a really good initiative that just started. They've individualized that Quitline program. So there's always been a free program through the state to call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. But they decided that a lot of our youth and maybe some of our healthier people that don't see those health effects of smoking aren't really interested in reaching out, maybe not ready to quit. So they've created this individualized program that they can just go online, reach out, and say that they're interested. They'll immediately get some information mailed to them. They won't have to talk to anybody. They won't have to text anyone. And we're really hoping that opens the door, that they receive the information, and the information does come with 2 weeks of free NRT. They'll receive that in the mail, and we're hoping that that will open the door for them to actually set a quit date and follow through with the program.
What's that website?
Quit Now Indiana. quitnowindiana.com, or you can call 1-800-QUIT-NOW if you'd like to talk to a counselor.
I know when you go into any convenience store, any gas station, all the vaping is just, it hits you right in the face. You've been fighting that fight a little bit. That's a tough fight to win, but where are you in that battle?
It is a battle.
Yeah.
And, we do look to see how tobacco products are marketed to our youth. And we just completed that survey. I'm waiting for that data to come back so I can share it with people in the community. But, some disturbing trends that we found, there were locations that had nicotine pouches sitting right on the counter, not behind the counter. And I asked, do these ever go missing? And they were like, oh, sure, all the time. So they're enticing our youth, wanting them to, grab that product, try that product, and become addicted to that product. There are also marketing tactics where right here in Hamilton County, some of the e-cigarettes were placed right by candy, right where our youth look. So it's a big battle, and it's going to take the whole community to educate our youth.
And you mentioned NRT.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Stands for?
Oh, nicotine replacement therapy. And there's all different types of nicotine replacement therapy. And I apologize,
that's
being in the, but there's all different types. And so when those people do reach out, they'll talk to a counselor, and that counselor will help them decide and teach them how to use the nicotine replacement therapy, because some people don't realize, the nicotine gum, it's not something that you just chew constantly. You do have to chew it a few times, park it in your gum, in your gum line, so it starts to work. So, they will get a specific outreach for how they smoke, when they smoke, where they smoke. So it's a great free service.
Well, Stacy, thank you for all your hard work. Again, the website is?
The website is Breathe Easy Hamilton County, or you can follow us on Facebook as well as Smoke Free HC.
All right, thank you.
Sorry.
Thank
No,
you,
you're
Stacy.
good. We're going to take a break. Back with more Connecting Hope after this. And welcome back to Connecting Hope. Will Hampton along with Monica Greer. And I tell you, last segment, Breathe Easy Hamilton County. I don't know if anybody works harder than Stacy London.
Yeah.
She
She's
is
got a lot going
banging
on.
on the door all the time trying to help kids.
Yeah, and she's got a really neat voice program like she talked about. It's amazing.
Yeah. Domestic Violence Awareness Month is going on right now.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wearing the purple.
Wearing your purple.
Yeah, and so much of that is because of drugs and alcohol. A lot of times it's documented.
It's definitely related in a lot of the cases. So it's Prevail does a great job with the resources that they have. Maybe we'll have them on a show.
Yeah, we need to do that sometime.
Yeah.
Well, now we're going into part 2 of Mark's story. This is another great success story, and as we take a listen to what Mark's story is all about.
My wife and my kids basically told us we don't want to be around you anymore. We're sick of walking around on pins and needles around you. You make our life miserable. Either you got to figure out what's wrong with you and get it fixed, or you have to leave. I remember driving, I was crying, I was thinking about killing myself, and really at the end, it was in that moment that, I knew what I was. I came here to the Suburban North Club the next day, and a couple of days later was able to admit to the fact that I was an alcoholic. And I've been participating in my own recovery now. It'll be, if I make it, it'll be 5 years in October or November. And I've been participating in a 12-step recovery program and surrounding myself with people that are wrapped in recovery. And it's been a good experience for me, and it's changed my life immeasurably. The greatest change for me has been the experience of connecting with a power greater than myself, which the work I've done here has helped me to be able to have. I have a connection with what I call God now that has changed everything for me. And And what I mean by that is I do my best to live a principled life and to try to live in a way that I think God would want me to live. And that makes my life a whole lot easier than when I was trying to run everything myself.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for sharing your incredible story, and congratulations on your journey. And Monica, so much of all these success stories, faith plays a huge
Yes.
part. It did for Mark. It has for a lot of people.
Yes, yes, that's a connection. Doesn't matter what people's faith is, as long as they have some type of faith and something to think of as their higher power.
Yeah.
And most of the people, at least that I've met, it is a huge role in that.
And connecting to other people who have similar stories.
Yeah.
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 All that is really neat. I love those success stories.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break. We're going to wrap up this week, Connecting Hope, right after this. And again, thank you so much for watching Connecting Hope. I'm Will Hampton along with Monica Greer, and the Hamilton County Council on Alcohol and Other Drugs that's where you work.
Yes.
And I tell you that what I've seen a lot, this is like, I think week 6 of this show. So much of it is about the connectivity and the agencies that work. But if someone's watching this, they don't live in Hamilton County maybe, how do they get a hold of you so that you can connect them
Sure.
to other places?
Sure, they can email at 317, no,
That's a
they
phone
can
number.
call me
Yeah.
at 317-776-8429. Email monica.greer, monica.greer @hamiltoncounty.in.gov.
When they call you or when they email you, I know it's based on what they're saying, but your response likely is then to connect them to an agency?
Yes, whatever their question is, I can connect them.
Well, thank you so much for doing what you do.
Thank
You're
you.
saving lives, you know that?
Oh, good.
You definitely are. And we're done for this week. We do appreciate you watching. We'll see you next week on Connecting Hope.